Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome to my spiritual oasis. Here, weary souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. We're doing a Soulful 7 reading right now. Soul-filling messages that you are meant to take with you for the next week. I've prepared 3 groups, 1, 2, and 3. As you're deciding which group or groups has your message in it, I just wanted to share a few pieces of information with you all. If you're not already a part of the Kindred family here on YouTube, please do make sure to subscribe. Like this video if the message hits home for you. Connect with me on TikTok and Instagram. And if you're interested in a personal reading, whether it's a Soulful 7 or another type of reading where we get in depth into whatever issues you have, please do connect with me on Etsy, where I offer personal readings as well as other content to help you on your spiritual life journey. So thank you so much for listening to that. Pause the video now if you still need a moment to contemplate which group or groups has your message in it. Otherwise, I'll just see you in your reading. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your Soulful 7 reading. We're going to go ahead and flip over for your guiding energy. Poised. I swear this card always comes out. So, poised is your guiding energy today. The message behind poised is really, it feels like temperance in tarot to me. The temperance card in tarot, where there is an encouragement to focus on refinement, so you're not engaging in anything new or excitable. You're really just leaning in on the current skills that you have. You're improving the current skills that you have. You're getting yourself presentable, refinement. That's really what the focus of the conversation is today. So we have music. The key word in music is joy. So you could be refining some sort of skill or talent with music. I also feel like music in this particular situation is talking about focusing on things that bring you joy. So whether that's music or something else, but the idea here is that you are cultivating joy right now in your life. You're focusing on joy instead of happiness. So happiness is outside in, it's a feeling, whereas joy is something that happens from the inside and manifests outward. I feel like music also can talk about like using your voice or using sound. It talks about communication, and it talks about emotions. So communicating your emotions. I feel like there's also a message here saying that something joyous is going to come out of whatever you're preparing for. Poised is also a card to me of preparation, that you're preparing for something. So let's see if we can dig deeper into the message here. So we have atoms, and the keyword there is building. To me, there's a suggestion here that whatever you're preparing for with the poised card, it is something that you're building up, and it's something that is connected to your creative world. And that success here, or success in that place, is going to bring joy and is going to bring a level of fulfillment into your life as well. But it is something that you're going to have to build, something that you're working towards, working on. And it's a part of developing a strong foundation for you. So we have that number 4, the number 40 reduces down to the number 4, which suggests stability, grounded energy, which makes a lot of sense that it is a part of the atoms, or it's talking about atoms, which is the foundation, the building blocks of life itself. So, or matter in general. Just matter. Foundation, the building blocks of matter. The Eight of Wands, the Fool. Okay. Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. Okay. So I feel like the Eight of Wands is telling us that the universe is behind us on this journey that we're going on. Being supported. The universe is supporting the efforts and the energies present in order to make this thing happen. Whatever we're building here, the universe is putting energy behind it. A lot of energy and resources and opportunities coming your way. A burst of energy from the inside out, as well as like resources becoming available to you as you embark on this journey. I do also feel like so the Knight of Pentacles energy, it could represent a person and with strong earth sign placements in their chart. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus in an earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. But if not a person, I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is really bringing the message of work, effort. I feel like it is. I feel like these cards are connected to each other. Oh, I'm over here throwing stuff. Okay, I feel like these cards are connected. So poised with the Knight of Pentacles and the atoms. It's definitely talking about building. It's talking about work. It's talking about effort, refinement, and suggesting that action needs to be taken in this area in order to accomplish what you're after, which is the message from our Knight of Pentacles. Our Knight of Pentacles is also talking about stability. It's talking about effort, and particularly in the physical world. It's asking you, what work do you have to do? What effort did you have to put into it in order to accomplish what you're after? I feel like the Fool card, the immediate message that came from the Fool card, first of all, is faith. Having faith in the process, being willing to go out on an adventure. So the Knight of Pentacles to me is very practical, very serious. There is, you know, in the Knight of Pentacles world, it's very like practical and reasonable. And I feel like the Fool energy is present to say, yes, there are practical elements to it, and there is a necessity to, there's a necessity to have to do some work, to do some building. But I feel like the Fool is reminding us that life is also about adventure, and it's also infinite possibilities. So I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is kind of saying there's limitations here because, you know, we're working with the tangible world. And the Fool is saying, with the number 0, limitless possibilities. There are no limitations. There are infinite possibilities potentially present here. So I feel like this energy, this is meant to give you the freedom to do whatever you need to do in order to make your dreams come to fruition, and in order to bring your joy into reality and to make it real. So the Knight of Pentacles is making it real, and the Fool is saying we might have to think outside the box. We might have to do things a little bit unorthodox, a little bit different than we might have in the past in order to make whatever this thing is come to truth or come to reality. And then our Eight of Cups is really, in this particular situation, talking about leaving behind limiting energy. Being willing to leave something behind in order to adventure out and find something new and different and more fulfilling. So the imagery here is basically an individual walking away from 8 full cups. In theory, they're full. They're upright anyway. But there's something missing. Right? There's a hole. There's something missing. And in order to find out what that missing element is, in order to have true emotional fulfillment in the situation, you have to venture out. You have to adventure out and discover what that is. And the Fool again suggests faith. I also feel like the figures suggest faith too. Like, yes, this person's leaving behind something that's good. They have faith that whatever they're going after is going to be better. It's going to be fulfilling. It's going to be in alignment with their purpose in life and intention. So, I feel like that might be suggesting that you might be leaving something behind that is otherwise perfectly fine, if you will. But something isn't sitting right with you. Ooh. Resourcefulness, which I feel like is connected to our Knight of Pentacles energy, and we have abundance. Yep. So we have hollyhock and huckleberry. And I feel like the huckleberry is connected to the Knight of Pentacles energy as well as the Fool energy. I feel like there's a potential for like creativity, thinking outside the box, just because you're so free and open, those infinite possibilities. I feel like the energies in these 3 cards are definitely connected together. And there's going to be a need to be resourceful, which I feel like I kind of said that before. Or something similar to that. Abundance. I feel like abundance is connected to these energies here. Following this path and using the energies that the universe is offering to you, but also your own energy to pursue something that's going to bring you joy, pursue something that is creative, that is true to your creativity and your love and your skills, your truth. I feel like connecting all of these things together is going to bring you abundance in more ways than one. I mean, I could also say that this energy, which the Knight of Pentacles, I feel like represents the building aspect, the work aspect, what do we need to do to make this come to fruition aspect. And it also suggests, you know, the Knight of Pentacles is doing all of this to reap the harvest, the abundance of it. So I feel like these 2 energies are also connected as well. Okay. All right. So overall, the messages that I am receiving for you today, group number 1, is that you're in a time right now where you're refining skills that you have, and you're using those skills and those talents to pursue that which is going to make you joyous, whether that has to do literally with music, or using your voice, or in some way, shape, or form. There's so many ways to use your voice. But it's emotional fulfillment is what we're after here, from the inside out, by tapping into your creativity and being true to who you are as a creative being. We're building that up, whatever it is, whether it manifests in the form of a business or some sort of creative, product. It's something that we're building from the ground up. We're creating a solid foundation for it as well. We're being resourceful in order to do that, using the energy from the universe as well as from ourselves. We're having faith, and we're freeing ourselves of limitations so that, there's some thinking outside of the box present here. Definitely some work to be done. What do we need to do to make this reality, to make this tangible? And, there's a success in that. This is going to bring abundance to us. In order to receive that abundance, so we are going to have to leave behind something that's not quite fulfilling us. Something that might be good, but it's not great. Something that might be offering us stability right now, and we might be a little bit uncomfortable letting it go, but I feel like there's a message of necessity of letting go of whatever that is, so that we can discover something that is going to actually be more fulfilling to us than what we currently have. There's something missing. Something's not quite right. And that's what we're on a journey to figure out, and to, fill that void with that which brings us joy. Okay, so these are the overall messages that I had for you, group number 1. We're going to go ahead and pull some soul truth cards for you. And the point of this portion of our reading is to, for you to take one of these questions with you for the week to meditate on, to journal on. It's meant to just be something a topic basically that you pick to focus on for the week, so that you have something to put your energy in that has connected to your spiritual life and your spiritual growth. So the first question, am I willing? I feel like that could go so many directions. Here, let's take a look at the back of the card. Feel free to pause if you need to. I feel like this is definitely connected to the Fool energy. Are you willing to go on this adventure? Are you willing to work, to do what it takes to get to a place that's more fulfilling? Are you willing to release something that isn't quite right? It's not quite right. Are you willing to release that and put in work and build what you want to actually be present in your life? So, are you willing? Number 2, where am I with my health goals? So if you've been experiencing maybe some physical challenges, or maybe even not challenges, maybe you're just like, you know what? I haven't been eating right, I haven't been exercising like I should be, and that needs to change. So if you're feeling convicted right now in the realm of your physical health and well-being, potentially that's a good question to take with you this week. And then the third and final question, what am I grateful for right now? I love gratitude. I feel like gratitude is always a good place to default to if you're feeling unfulfilled, if you're feeling worried, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling unsatisfied. Starting from a grace, or returning to a place of gratitude, or going to a place of gratitude, to me is always a good place to start as you're trying to figure out what you should be doing in your life in general. So what are you grateful for right now? I love that. All right, beautiful soul. So these are the messages that I've channeled for you today. I certainly hope this was helpful for you, enlightening for you, inspiring for you as you go through your week. If something did resonate, make sure to drop a comment down below and let me know what did. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already a part of the Kindred family. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're interested in a personal reading or any other spiritual content, make sure to check out my Etsy shop. So thank you so much, beautiful soul, for your time and energy today, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your Soulful 7 reading. Again, these are soul-filling messages that you are meant to take with you for the week moving forward. So let's go ahead and flip your guiding energy. Community. I love this. Oh my gosh. This feels like the 3 of Cups energy to me in tarot. All right. Let me put you over here. Community is our focus today. That's our guiding energy. So whether that's you connecting and giving back to your community, or you receiving help or assistance from your community, you might be able to get a little bit more information as we consult our other decks. Okay, so we have the 2 of Wands energy, Page of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. Let's get one more card. Let's see. Oh, something flipped. Where'd it go? There it is. King of Pentacles. All right. Community. All right. First and foremost, I will say with the Fire and the Pentacles energy present, it feels like we're dealing with, it could be career, it could be business, but just the tangible world in general. The Wheel of Fortune is suggesting a change in luck in the positive sense, that your luck is about to change. And I feel like that's connected to our 2 of Wands energy here. This idea of like embarking on a journey. This unevenness is okay. Ooh, and we have the Death card, which I feel like it makes sense. I was vibing to pick another card, and I'm happy that the Death card came up, because I feel like it makes a lot of sense in this, with all that's happening right now. So I like the Death card also in relationship to the Wheel of Fortune. So I do feel like, our Death card is talking about change, big changes, life changes, but it's almost like a progression. So the Death, unlike like the Tower card, where the Tower like boom, spark, electricity, something changing dramatically, the Death card is like gradual, like we are progressing into another phase of our life, another stage of our life. And I'm feeling that with the 2 of Wands energy as well. With the Wheel of Fortune present, I feel like it's a positive change, that we're moving on into a positive position, a positive change in our life. And I feel like that's could definitely be connected to community and community building. So potentially for some of us, connecting with the soul family, just in general, building up a group of people around you that are really supportive. And that it's a mutual energy exchange, that you're not the one always giving, and you're also not the one always receiving either. It is a mutual exchange of energy that's present. But I do feel like, we're at that 2 of Wands. We're standing on the edge of something great. So we're looking out, and we're figuring out the plan, what we're planning to do. So for some of you, this could be an adventure of love. But for a lot of you, I'm feeling like it has to do somewhere with business, with career, job, somewhere in there is what I'm feeling. Like you're about to embark on some sort of adventure as far as career or work. The Page of Pentacles is kind of interesting, because we have the Page of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So we have the 2 extremes. We kind of have this very youthful, exploratory energy present, as well as I feel like the outcome. I feel like the King of Pentacles could be a mentor, somebody who's going to guide you on your path, especially if you're vibing with the Page energy and you're kind of just starting out on some sort of a business or career adventure with these 2 energies together. The King of Pentacles could definitely be somebody who's going to help you through this transition. This person is going to be I'm getting really, really, really good energy off of the King of Pentacles. Like, this person is going to be a really grounded, solid person, potentially have strong earth placements in their chart, sun, moon, rising, Venus, and an earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Not necessarily, but could. Overall, this person is going to be very grounded, successful. They've been there before. So it's, you know, you can trust their advice. They have nothing to lose. Like, you being successful doesn't bother them. It doesn't, like, they've already made it. They're already successful. So they're more than willing to help you on your journey, for you to reach that place as well. And I also feel like the King of Pentacles is there to basically nurture business ideas, nurture your creative passions as you transform those into monetary benefit for yourself. So as you turn your passions and your creativities into a source of income for yourself. Yeah, for some of you, I feel like you're transitioning again from like transitioning into a place where you're working for yourself. And again, that could be pretty specific to some of you, but it definitely feels very, very tangible. It feels very practical. It feels very worldly. Like you're setting out to make a grounded, solid foundation for yourself. What else are we vibing with? I feel like the King of Pentacles could also represent you after you've reached the success of what's happening back here. I feel like that, like, the Two of Wands energy and the Page of Pentacles energy, like, these two people feel very, like, youthful. So whether you believe you're young or not, it's suggesting, like, a youthful type of energy where you are starting something new. You're a novice in many ways at what you're doing, or maybe even how you're doing it or how you're trying to translate it. So even if you're doing something you've done for a long time and you're good at it, maybe the transitioning or translating that into, say, an income or something like that could be the novice aspect of the conversation. I feel like the Page of Pentacles is suggesting exploration and really, like, allowing, just allowing yourself to explore. You know, not feeling like you have to go into it knowing everything or something like that, but it's okay to explore. It's okay to kind of figure it out. Use your hands. Get yourself dirty a little bit. See what grows. That sort of thing is very evident and present here. But I do feel like this youthful exploration, this plan that you're going to come up with, this kind of adventurous energy back here, with the Wheel of Fortune like that, and a little bit of a sprinkle of luck, if you will. And I like to believe that luck is where, what is it, like, experience and opportunity meet. And I feel like that is actually what's going to happen, especially like hooking up with this mentor type of energy. That's going to transform and transition your life into this next phase, which is actually going to be really abundant and prosperous. So we have fluidity, outer core, fluidity. To me, this is talking about being flexible. There's a lot of earth energy present, and the Death card feels very permanent. But it's also Scorpio energy in the Death card. So there is a level of fluidity, change, flexibility that is suggested in presence in this conversation. So just being mindful of that. Ooh, so we have morale, which the keyword there is regenerate, and we have dogwood, defend. Okay. So I feel like regenerate is connected to the death card. That this transition, this transformation, this new journey, this plan is actually going to be really regenerative and really positive and uplifting. I feel like it could also lead to a really strong like community connection as well. I think this is a connection as well. I feel like regenerate is very like Scorpio energy, very death card energy, and this idea of fluidity and being flexible as you go through this change, especially if you have really strong earth placements in your birth charts. Just like the ability to be flexible and go with the flow in some situations, which might be kind of challenging because there's a lot of earth energy present here. So there might be some resistance to change is kind of the message that I'm getting, and I feel like there's a message to like be a little bit more fluid and open to change as we go through this process. And then dogwood talks about defend, and I feel like it's defending. I feel like the lesson from the King of Pentacles does talk about defending or protecting what is yours. But I also feel like it's like defending your right to change. Like there are going to be people who aren't going to like, they don't like change, so they're not going to like that you are changing and growing and morphing and developing as a person. And I feel like defend is just like defending your right to change, to transform, to grow, to be in this process of transformation, and know that it's okay. Know that everybody isn't going to understand you, but know that as you go on this journey, you are going to connect with and develop a community of people who are going to understand you and who are going to support you through this change. So it's not to say that you have to like get rid of, people from the past, but you might have to start limiting time, energy, and connection with people that aren't on board with you progressing your life. Maybe even, because this energy to me is suggesting, especially if you're not really young, but you're a little bit older, I feel like it's suggesting that you are starting something new, you're going on this adventure. It might be a bit out of character for you, especially if you're more one of those solid, grounded people. This might be something that has been on your heart and your mind for a while, and you just didn't feel like it was the right time or whatever to take the step in that direction. And I feel like the message here is now is the time. It's time to move on this and get people around you that are going to support you transforming your dreams into something that you can actually do, that you can live off of, so that you're not working a crappy job that you hate, but you're doing something that you love and maybe making a little bit less, but still able to like survive and do something that you really love to do. All right, so those are the main messages. We're going to flip over some soul truth cards. Again, the idea for this section is for you to take one of these questions with you for the week to meditate and journal on. Just an area for you to kind of focus on for the week to help you on your spiritual growth. So the first question, how can I infuse more self-love and compassion into my daily life? Always a solid question. I feel like especially those of you who connect with being like a light worker or just a person who's just really like compassionate with other people, but often we can leave ourselves out of the equation. And I feel like there's a message here encouraging you not to leave yourself out of the equation, that you deserve to also have that that love and that support and that compassion in your life as well. Okay. Second question, what is my body telling me right now? So sometimes for us ambitious types, we can get so focused on our goals and the tasks and the things that need to be done that we forget that we as well, and our health and our well-being is also one of those things that need to be done, and that we need to focus on that as well. We should be a part of what we focus on and care about every day. And then the last question, what can I burn? If you are physically burning things, make sure to do it safely. But read the back of the card. This card is really connected to like the phoenix energy here. This idea of rising from the ashes. Burning fire is a form of cleansing. So that's what we're talking about here, is like cleansing. What can we cleanse out of our life? What can we release out of our lives in order to create and make room for something that we actually want to be present? So what can you cleanse out of your life? What needs to go? Again, as the focus is of community, I feel like the first thing you would want to check is your community, the people that you have around you, the environment that you are nurturing your spiritual journey in. Is it conducive to positive outcomes? If not, what can you do to transform that? Okay? So beautiful, soul. These are the messages that I've channeled for you today. I certainly hope this was helpful and uplifting and encouraging for you. If it was, be sure to drop a comment and let me know what you connected with in the message today. If you're not a part of the Kindred family yet, please do connect with me here by clicking like and subscribing to my YouTube channel, and connecting with me on my social media. So TikTok and Instagram, I'm the most active. Connect with me there for, more bite-sized messages. And if you're interested in a personal reading, an in-depth reading, or just some quick, information for your life, go ahead and check out my Etsy shop. I also curate other content on my Etsy shop to help you with your life journey. So thank you so much, my beautiful kindred soul, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your Soulful 7 reading. Soul-filling messages that you are meant to take with you for the week ahead. So let's go ahead and flip over your guiding energy from our Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Ooh, we have yin. So that divine feminine energy, to me, this is going to be an inwardly strong focus right now. We're focusing on our emotional space. We're focusing on what we are nurturing and nourishing in our lives. We're thinking queen energy right here. This is a really pretty card. I don't know how the color is showing up. It's so lovely. It's so girly and pink and cute. I love it. But divine feminine energy. I would also like to spend just a moment to look at the number 2, which is, the number on our yin card here. The number 2 is I always like to call the number 2 the diplomat of numerology. So the number 2 really feels like Libra energy to me, this like balancing act sort of energy. But our number 2s are about harmony. The number 2s are about compromise and harmony and blending different energies together to create something that is better than each individual part by itself. Our number 2s are also gracious, And that is where their power lies. Their power lies in their ability to be gracious, their ability to connect and be empathetic, intuitive. They're concerned and connected to partnerships. They're very sensitive to the world around them. So I always connect this with air, water combination energy and like Cancer, Libra type of energy. And also keep in mind that because our twos are so concerned about having everything work in partnership and in tandem and in balance, sometimes there can be an element of indecision. Because we know the number 2, right? It's an even number. And there can be some indecision connected to it. And because of all of the kind of sensitivity and the intuition, that there can be some unassertiveness and some like easily being hurt. Okay, so I want us to just keep all of that in mind. That was kind of a lot of information, but there's a lot of power in yin, and I feel like because we're so what is it? We're so like obvious as people. I feel like we're so obvious that sometimes the yin power gets overlooked. But there's a aspect of positivity when it comes to that, because it's almost like you're ruling through the power of persuasion and inspiration, and to the point where people are feeling like they're connecting with the cause, which actually can make it a lot stronger than some of the yang energy, which is very robust and out there. It's almost like that energy comes swift and quick, and it can go as quickly, whereas yin energy settles in. It's that water, it's that earth. It's slow moving, but it is also stabilizing as well and sustainable. So lots of energy, lots of talking. Let's go ahead and get some other cards. Ooh, I knew the magician was gonna come up. Ah! Okay. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And look who we have, Miss Queen of Cups. I don't know, I am being weird, but it's happening. Okay. We actually have a lot of water energy presence here in general. I feel like the 8 of Wands is showing up here with the magician, because I feel like there's a message here about power. The rest of the cards are focused on emotional energy, but these 2 cards feel very masculine to me. So I do feel like there's a message here of balance. Our yin energy is about that, divine feminine energy is about balance. Or I'm sorry, the 2 energy is about balance anyway. But I feel like there's a message here that there is power, there is energy, under this water energy that's giving it heat and boiling it up a little bit. And then I feel like the magician energy is present here to just remind us of the power, remind us of the connection that we have to the universe and all the resources that we need to make this come to life. So power and resources present and available in mass quantity, okay? And then with the 4 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the Queen of Cups. Oh boy. Give me a second here. I have a small rebellion with the chords. Okay. All right. There we go. So I'm getting the message here with the 4 of Cups that sometimes when things don't quite go exactly as planned or go the way we think they should, or whatever the case may be. Lots of different ways of saying this. But I feel like the primary message is things might not always work out the way we think they will on the first try. We might have to tap into different resources. We might have to figure out a different strategy on how we're going to accomplish something. So if you've recently done something and it hasn't gone the way you thought it was going to go, and you're feeling, you're licking your wounds a little bit, feeling a little bit put out, if you will, or emotionally feeling like giving up a little bit, or you're kind of sulking, the message that I feel like is coming from there is that sometimes we just have to reevaluate the situation. Sometimes we need to get help. And I feel like that's the Six of Cups energy. And, our Queen of Cups energy, this could be the person who's helping us, could be represented by the Queen of Cups. The Divine Feminine energy, with strong water placements potentially in their birth chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and in a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Not necessarily, but could be. I also feel like the Queen of Cups is like talking to you, like you cultivating that energy, because I feel like, the Four of Cups is very immature to me. Like, it's like this very like, I'm bored, and it kind of feels like a little whiny to me. Like, nothing is good enough. No, I don't want any of that stuff. It just feels like very childish, because you're unable to like go inward and figure out, and kind of lazy too. You're kind of lazy, like you don't want to go inward and figure out what it is that's truly bothering you. So I feel like cultivating this Queen of Cups energy, our Queen of Cups is all about cultivating that emotional space, going deep, digging into nurturing and nourishing our spiritual life, our creative life. What's missing in our lives from the inside out, from that spiritual place, from that creative place. What are our gifts in life? It's like all of those sorts of things are what we are connecting to and nurturing. And then with our Six of Cups, I feel like there's a definite potential love message here present, especially if you've been trying to manifest a partner in your life. But I feel like the Six of Cups is also talking about giving and receiving love in all its ways, shapes, and forms. So whether that's through a partnership, or whether that is like a relationship, like a romantic partnership, or whether that is through other means. But this idea of giving and receiving love, nurturing and nourishing your heart space by practicing it. So it's one thing to say that you're ready, say, for a romance or whatever. And another thing to actually go out there and practice it, because there's a need to, in order to receive, you have to be open. In order to be open, you have to practice opening yourself up, opening that heart space up to receiving love, whether that's in a platonic form or whether that is through, a romantic sense of things. But I feel like in general, we are nurturing, and the focus for this week is nurturing our feminine energy, that divine, strong, watery, emotional, and earthly spaces. Then we have growth. Yes. We are fertilizing our soil so that we can grow. We have plants, and the key word for plants is growth. I like this image. It's really pretty. To me, that it feels like there's going to be a lot of spiritual growth. That's what we are shooting for, spiritual growth and emotional growth and healing as we move forward this week. I'm feeling like that is the focus. That's what we're focusing on right now, or needs to be the focus. Clover. Keyword there is nurture. That's really what we're talking about here, nurturing. Nurturing, growth, Queen of Cups energy. So incredibly connected, tied into each other. So it's really quite lovely energy, actually. Then we have burdock, which is tenacity. Really holding in there, holding on to it, not releasing or letting it go until you've gotten to your destination. Sorry, keep knocking things over. Don't know why. Okay. I feel like burdock also can talk about boundaries. So setting firm boundaries, sticking to them, I feel like is also a message, which is going to be something you really need to do, especially when you're talking about your yin energy, because our yin energy, the divine feminine energy, is a receptive energy. Sometimes that's strength, because that is its strength, but people perceive that as weakness. The Queen of Cups energy is actually that Cups energy is very intuitive, which means you have the power of intuition. You have a strong emotional leaning, so that gut feeling, that those gut emotions that you're feeling, or the gut responses that you're feeling to certain stimuli, are often very much so on point because of that that connection there to your intuition and your power of discernment and your connection to higher beings and higher energy. So don't allow people to convince you that your spiritual and emotional approach in general to life, or even strength, is not good. Because, you know, we underestimate the power of water, right? All of these elements have the power to destroy and the power to bring and cultivate life. So often we think of water, especially in the emotional sense, as like something that's like malleable and soft and weak, when really, like, water is so incredibly strong, right? Water creates canyons and turns into ice and steam, and like there's just so many forms and powerful manifestations of that water energy that I want you to know that there is massive amounts of strength in water energy and in water earth combinations, which is that yin space. Water and earth, we know how powerful that they can be. And people can underestimate them if they want to. But I feel like if you do find yourself being a more discerning, emotional, emotive, intuitive, watery type of person, guilty party of one, people might take your kindness for weakness. They might think that they can run over you like a speed bump. But I feel like when you really lean into that queen energy and you are solid and you are solid in who you are, what you have, what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate, there's an incredible power and respect that you get, because again, like I mentioned in the beginning of our conversation with that 2 energy, there is a tremendous amount of power in like moving in that almost like silent way, like moving in the background, ruling with compassion. You know, it's almost like you're winning people over. You know, you're getting their heart and they serve you from their heart instead of out of fear or, you know, out of admiration for your visible power. You know, so like winning people from the inside out. So don't discredit that power. It's very what am I trying to say? There's a word. It works. It's slower though. It works slower than the yang energy. So when you see people like they're so flashy and exciting and, you know, all of this very fiery, very airy type of energy, don't feel like you need to be that. Okay? Those are faster moving, quicker sort of energies. Here we are talking about the slower, more sustainable energies. Okay? You build a solid foundation in the earth and not in the air. So it's going to take time, and I feel like there's an encouragement here for patience as well, especially with growth and with this idea of plants, right? You don't all of a sudden get a plant once you plant the seed. It has to go through the process. It takes time. Nurturing and nourishing with the earth and the water energy takes a little bit of time, but again, it's sustainable and it's longer lasting. So patience with yourself too. All right, so these are the overall messages. Again, this week we're focusing on cultivating and encouraging, diving into nurturing and nourishing that divine feminine energy, earthy, watery, emotional sort of energy. And I feel like there's also an undertone connotation connected to physical health and well-being as well, because health and well-being is covered under earth energy. Okay? So now we're going to pick out some of our soul truth questions. And the point of this portion of the conversation is for you to choose one of these questions to take with you, to meditate on, to contemplate on, to journal on through the week. So the first one, what boundaries need to be created or strengthened within my relationships? I love when the boundary card comes up. Setting strong boundaries, especially for my watery, earthy, divine feminine, inwardly strong, nurturing, nourishing types is very important. Because that's one of like the struggle street situations for our two energy. You know, and especially like feminine energy in general, it's kind of like there's such a focus on like cultivating like partnership and love and community and cooperation that sometimes there's a struggle with the boundary setting. So I feel like boundaries is definitely connected to earth energy. And again, we're talking about a combination of water and earth energy working in partnership with each other. So setting strong boundaries. And again, you don't have to be unkind when you are setting those boundaries. I think that's part of the illusion. Like sometimes we wait so long to set a boundary that we blow up, we get mad, and it becomes unkind. But establishing an understanding is really all a boundary is. And you don't have to be unkind, but you do have to be firm. Okay? Question number 2. What are the dominant emotions that run my life? I feel like this is a really good question to bring with you for the week, especially because our conversation is focused on that yin energy. It's focused on the emotional world. So I feel like having a good understanding of your emotional world and what emotions are running your life is a really good question to take with you this week. Yeah. And then the third and final question, am I clear on what my soul really wants? Okay, so I feel like this question is connected to this idea, being an emotionally strong being intuitive, being empathic, being able to connect with other people's emotional world is, again, it's a power. It's a great power, an incredible power. And it can also be difficult if we are not prepared in ourselves, if we don't know, if we are not clear on what our soul really wants, if we don't know what the sound of our own inner voice sounds like, what our true feelings are, if we are not surrounded with really strong, firm boundaries, it gets really tricky really quickly. So I feel like this is an encouragement for you to take a moment, take this week, take some months, whatever you need to become clear on what your soul really wants. What is your destiny? What are you aligning with? Where are you, what is your strength? What is your foundation? What is your grounding? Coming up with those and spending a good fair bit of time really working through that. So when you come out into the world and as you're connecting with others, you're able to truly, deeply, and from a place of power, be able to connect with the world around you. So, yes, I am on board. I am excited for you. I think this is going to be a beautiful journey that you're going to go through. And I think developing our yin energy is so important and so overlooked. And I feel like that's why it's so important. Like, yes, all the energies are important, but I feel like we focus so much on yang energy because I feel like it's more tangible and our results are quicker, right? Because it is that fast acting air fire. But truly nurturing that yin energy, truly being connected with ourselves from the inside out, is imperative. It's critical, especially before we go out and, make a difference in our communities and things like that. Like, we're going to need to really come from a place of strength as we're preparing to do all of that. So, okay. So, beautiful soul, these are the messages that I've channeled for you today. I certainly hope this was helpful for you. If it was, make sure to drop a comment down below. Let me know what resonated. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already a part of the Kindred family. Would love to have you connect with me on my social media, Instagram and TikTok. If you're interested in a personal reading or any other information or content to use on your spiritual journey, make sure to check out my Etsy shop as well. Links to everything are in the description. So thank you so much for your time and energy, beautiful soul, and I'll see you in an upcoming reading. Bye.